The crimson sky rained ash over the battlefield, each flake a shroud for the countless fallen across the ruined land. For 3 years, war had turned this planet into a graveyard, where two species perfected the art of destroying each other. Kalira's blue skin was streaked with dirt and blood. Her breathing was heavy as she moved through the wreckage. Her people called this place the Convergence, where human colony ships first landed, where first contact turned into first blood. Now it was simply where life ended. She spotted him pinned under a collapsed beam. His armor was cracked, leaking medical fluid. His chest rose and fell shallowly, his pale face fevered. The war demanded she end him. Her leaders expected it. Her people needed it. Yet something in his expression stopped her. Not weakness, but stubborn defiance. His eyes, when they found hers, held no fear. Only tired acceptance that unsettled her. "Do it," he rasped. "Finish it." Kalira tightened her grip on her weapon. The logical choice was to grant his wish. Instead, she heaved the beam aside, using her enhanced strength to clear the debris. "What are you doing?" He groaned, trying to rise. His name Alex she remembered from the shouts of dying comrades. "Something foolish," she muttered, hauling him onto her shoulder. "There's a cave system 2 clicks north. Old mining tunnels. Help me, if you want to live." The journey was brutal. Hidden patrols roamed, terrain shifted underfoot, and Alex's shattered legs slowed them. He stumbled often, stifling groans that could have exposed them. Kalira admired his discipline, even as she doubted her own judgment. The cave lay behind a waterfall stained red with iron oxide. Inside stretched a maze of abandoned tunnels. Deep within, she found what she sought, an old emergency shelter, still housing a functional cryopod. "Why?" Alex asked weakly as she helped him inside. His gaze, though dulled by blood loss, stayed sharp. "Why save an enemy?" Her hand hovered over the activation controls. She knew what her people would call this treason. She'd be cast out, everything she believed in destroyed. Because, she whispered, sealing the pod, "someday this war may end. And when it does, someone should remember we were capable of more than killing." She initiated the sequence. Mist filled the chamber. His eyes met hers through the frosted glass as she pressed her palm against it. "If they find you, I die. If not, wake one day and fight beside me." She concealed the chamber and returned to war, carrying a secret that could either condemn her or redeem them. She never spoke of it. Not when she was decorated for valor. Not when the ceasefire came, brittle and temporary. Not when peace decayed into Cold War, then proxy wars, then worse. Kalira vanished from history as quietly as she had from the tunnels. 250 years later, the planet itself seemed to be dying. Kalira stood on the edge of what was once new sanctuary, watching it burn. Plasma bombardments lit the horizon. Her people, the Valorans, were collapsing, caught between invading fleets and civil war. She was older now, scarred, her armor worn from endless battles. Yet her eyes still held the same defiance that once made her save a human. The path to the caves was perilous, littered with defense grids and drones. She moved unseen, a ghost through ruins. As she approached familiar terrain, memories returned in waves, the same path centuries before. When she had dragged a dying soldier beneath the iron-stained falls, the waterfall was gone now, diverted by industry. But the cave remained, hidden among dead growth and rusted machines. Inside, time had altered everything, yet preserved it. Machinery still drew power from geothermal vents. Roots crawled through cracks, water dripped in steady rhythm. At the system's heart, the cryopod still waited. Its lights blinked faintly, a beacon in the dark. Kalira's hands trembled as she keyed the revival sequence. She had always told herself the secret would die with her. But the war had escalated beyond all imagination. Her people needed a reminder of what they fought for. The pod hissed and cycled, atmosphere normalizing. Mist vented. Slowly, impossibly, Alex stirred. His eyes snapped open, his instincts flaring. He reached for a weapon that was not there, panic flashing as unfamiliar surroundings set in. Contact! He shouted, trying to roll free. Body still trained by war despite centuries of sleep. Kalira reached out, gripping his shoulders. "Alex," she pleaded. "They found us." But he was lost in memories, names of dead comrades, voices from a battlefield centuries gone. "Focus." She shook him harder. "You have to see me." Gradually, clarity returned. His gaze fixed on her face, older now, marked by time, but still hers. Recognition cut through his panic, replaced by something colder. "You should have finished me," he whispered. Every word sharp, certain. Kalira held his stare. Sometimes the hardest choice is the right one. His armor, though scarred and broken, still revealed human craftsmanship powerful. "Advanced. You saved me," Alex said finally. His voice heavy with meaning. "I betrayed everything for you," she answered. "Now I need that betrayal to matter." Together, they walked deeper into the tunnels as Kalira explained the world that awaited him. The Valorans found themselves trapped in a three-way conflict. Expansion into outer colonies, internal rebels pushing for surrender, and hardliners who insisted only complete victory could secure their survival. Cities collapsed daily. Refugee camps sprawled across 3 continents. At the center stood a new ruler who demanded total obedience and promised final solutions. "The world you see now isn't the one you left," Kalira said as they stepped from the caves into the harsh light of an alien dawn. "Everything has changed, the technology, the politics, even the reason for fighting." Alex stood in silence, scanning the devastated horizon. Above, orbital bombardment platforms traced arcs across the sky, their weapons aimed downward like the fingers of a wrathful god. On the ground, forests had become blackened skeletal remains, victims of chemical and ecological warfare. "What do you need me to do?" he finally asked. The question caught Kalira off guard. She had expected anger or confusion, even demands. Instead, he accepted the situation and offered help, a soldier's pragmatic response to a battle larger than personal grievances. "Help me reach the capital," she said. "There are still people there who remember why we began this war. But the route is complicated." Alex checked his weapon's power cells with steady efficiency. "How complicated?" Her grim smile was answer enough dangerous from the start. The first 3 days were lessons in survival. The land between the caves and the capital was a killing ground filled with defense networks, patrols, and scavenger bands from both sides. Alex moved like a shadow, his battlefield instinct sharper than Kalira expected. He avoided sniper nests she would have walked into, spotted ambush sites, and twice kept them from minefields. "The basics never change," he explained during a break in the ruins of a shopping complex. "Cover, concealment, fields of fire, physics stays the same." Kalira studied him, impressed by how calmly he adapted. "You're handling this well," she said. "Dragged from your own time, thrown into a war older than civilizations." Alex paused. "When you put me in that pod, the war was already older than me. My unit fought for 3 straight years, and we knew it wasn't ending soon." He resumed cleaning his weapon. "At least now, I know how long it lasts." The sound of engines interrupted them. Kalira pulled him deeper into ruins as a patrol skimmer swept overhead. Through the rubble, she saw Valoran soldiers, her own people, hunting her as a traitor. "Friends of yours?" Alex whispered. "Once," she admitted tightly. "Their commander trained me as a cadet. Now he hunts me on orders." The skimmer passed, but it marked the start of true danger. Both sides would see them as enemies. Valorans branding Kalira a traitor and human scavengers who'd kill Alex instantly. The first real test came at an old fortress where human scavengers fought Valoran squads in a chaotic 3-way firefight. With no escape, Alex quickly analyzed the situation. "Follow me. The humans are pinning your people down but left their flanks open." He predicted human movements while Kalira guided them away from Valoran fire. Together, they survived, carving a path neither could alone. When the fight ended, they picked through the dead for supplies. Kalira paused at the body of a young soldier. Children killing children over ruins that mean nothing. Alex gently closed the boy's eyes. Wars always consume the young. That's why they must end. 2 days later, they entered a flooded bunker complex. Chest-deep water glowed with bioluminescent algae. Halfway through, an ambush erupted. Scavengers used the water as cover. Kalira ducked behind a wall. 3 positions, they've blocked the exits. Combat turned surreal as fighters dove and surfaced like predators. Alex used his armor's rebreather to stay submerged, flanking enemies. But Kalira was struck in the shoulder, blood spreading through the water. "Kalira!" Alex's shout echoed before his weapon roared. Fury drove him forward. But when he saw her drifting, everything else faded. He dragged her to safety, cursing under his breath. "You don't get to die here. Not after everything." She weakly touched his face. "You're still too loud." He laughed bitterly, working to seal her wound. "Get used to it. I'm not letting go." When the scavengers fled, Alex focused on saving her. The symmetry wasn't lost on Kalira, it reminded her of the day she had saved him. Before darkness took her, she whispered, "Turnabout." She awoke later to find him tending her wounds with gentle precision. "How bad?" she asked. "You'll live, but you need rest." They stayed in the bunker a day, trading stories. Alex spoke of early battles fought with hope for clean victories. Kalira described the war's slow spiral, devouring everything until most forgot its purpose. "Momentum keeps it going," she said. "We fight because it's all we know." Alex nodded. "That's why someone has to stop it, not win, just stop." Their path next took them through sniper territory, ruined buildings perfect for marksmen. Alex's knowledge of urban warfare kept them alive, spotting glints of scope glass and forcing detours. Once, they hid 6 hours while 2 unseen snipers battled each other nearby. "Patience," Alex whispered. "The dead have endless time. The living must be careful." Exhausted but alive, they finally reached the edge. Ahead lay the capital, its towers stabbing the clouds. "We made it," Kalira said, relief breaking through. Alex studied it through his scope. This is where it gets complicated. The city's security was suffocating. Biometric implants tracked citizens. Conversations were monitored. Movements recorded by sensors. "Your people have been busy," Alex observed. "Not my people," Kalira answered bitterly. "This is what the war made us. Perfect order, they call it." 2 days of watching patterns proved escape was impossible. Instead, Kalira chose another path. "I'll turn myself in," she said. Alex looked up sharply. "Excuse me? I'm wanted as a traitor. They'll take me straight to central detention. That's where resistance leaders are. Once inside, I can contact them. And me?" Alex asked. "I'll turn you in too. A human prisoner is too valuable. They'll interrogate you, not kill you. I'll tell them I captured you." Alex was silent. "You're asking me to trust you with my life again." "Yes," she said. "And if it fails, we die together instead of apart." Her plan was simple. Approach a patrol, claim capture of a human operative, and request transport to central detention. Once there, she'd find Commander Theo, her former mentor and leader of the moderate faction. If anyone could listen, it was him. "What about the resistance?" Alex asked. "If they exist, why believe they can change anything?" "Because," Kalira replied, checking her weapon, "sometimes one person remembering the real cause is enough." At midday, they approached a checkpoint. Alex's hands were bound, the capture staged. The young officer in charge, Velter, nearly glowed with ambition at the sight of them. A deserter and a live human prisoner delivered together. "Caller of the 3rd Battalion," he said, glancing at his datapad. "You've been gone a long time." "I've been hunting," Kalira replied, shoving Alex forward. He was working alone, deep in contested territory. "It took me 3 months to track him down." Velter circled Alex like a predator studying prey. "Impressive. A human operative still intact." He gestured to his guards. "Secure the prisoner. Prepare him for transfer." As the guards moved in, Alex turned to Kalira, his voice sharp with controlled fury. "You promised to protect me," he snarled. "I promised to keep you alive." Kalira cut in coldly. "Nothing more." The act was flawless. To everyone watching, it looked like betrayal. Alex's eyes reflected such convincing pain that even Kalira almost believed it. The transfer to central detention was carried out with heavy security. 3 armed vehicles, each armed with enough firepower to destroy a city block. Alex and Kalira were separated into different vehicles to prevent coordination. As the convoy passed through the capital, Kalira noted the changes. The city was breathtaking but unsettling, every building spotless, every street perfectly ordered, every citizen moving with forced precision under constant surveillance. It was beauty shaped by fear, sterile and oppressive. Central detention was a fortress of paranoia. Towers and underground levels, each isolated from the rest. Kalira was stripped of identity, reduced to a number. Alex was taken away, likely to interrogation or worse. She was sent to the political detention wing, where enemies of the state were kept. Her cell was small but clean, with a narrow window overlooking the city. She waited, knowing her gamble would soon be tested. 6 hours later, Commander Thal arrived. He looked older but carried the same rigid authority that had made him legendary. His expression was neutral, but his eyes betrayed a mix of disappointment and relief. "Kalira," he said simply. "Commander." She rose and saluted, as she had countless times in training. "I have a proposal." "You're in no position to make one," Thal replied. "You're a deserter and a traitor. Capturing the human is noted, but it doesn't erase centuries of crimes." "The human has a name," Kalira said firmly. "Alex, he isn't my prisoner, he's my ally." Thal's voice dropped to a cold softness. "I taught you to strike without hesitation, to see mercy as weakness. You used that training to betray your people. You gave your blade to the enemy." Kalira stood unbroken. "No, I gave it to the only one willing to carry it with me, when everyone else had forgotten why it mattered." The silence was heavy. At last, Thal looked away. She saw it then, not just anger, but exhaustion and fear. His hand moved toward his sidearm, then stopped. "You're admitting treason," he said. "I'm admitting hope," Kalira replied. "How many more years, Commander? How many generations before it ends? When we win, we can't win. Not like this. The humans can't win either. We're spiraling toward extinction." She stepped closer. "But there's another way, partnership." She revealed a hidden data chip. "Human tactics, technology, strategy. Alex gave me this freely, because he believes this war doesn't need to end in genocide." Thal stared as though it were poison. "Why would he do that?" "Because I spared his life once. Because sometimes the right choice looks like the wrong one." Before he could respond, alarms blared. Red lights bathed the corridors. Reports came in the outer colony fleet had launched a massive assault. The city was under siege. "It's begun," Thal said grimly. "The final battle. How long?" Kalira asked. 6, maybe 8 hours. She held up the chip. "Then this is the only time people might listen to reason." The detention facility transformed into a command center within hours. Despite her status, Kalira was placed as an advisor. Thal had little choice. Her intelligence could mean survival, but one question remained. "The human," Thal said. "Alex, I want to interrogate him." "He'll cooperate," Kalira replied. "But not under torture. He's a soldier, not a fanatic. We can't win. Not like this. The humans can't win either. We're spiraling toward extinction." She stepped closer. "But there's another way, partnership." She revealed a hidden data chip. "Human tactics, technology, strategy. Alex gave me this freely because he believes this war doesn't need to end in genocide." Thal stared as though it were poison. "Why would he do that?" "Because I spared his life once. Because sometimes the right choice looks like the wrong one." Before he could respond, alarms blared. Red lights bathed the corridors. Reports came in the outer colony fleet had launched a massive assault. The city was under siege. "It's begun," Thal said grimly. "The final battle. How long?" Kalira asked. 6, maybe 8 hours. She held up the chip. "Then this is the only time people might listen to reason." The detention facility transformed into a command center within hours. Despite her status, Kalira was placed as an advisor. Thal had little choice. Her intelligence could mean survival, but one question remained. "The human," Thal said. "Alex, I want to interrogate him." "He'll cooperate," Kalira replied. "But not under torture. He's a soldier, not a fanatic. We can't win. Not like this. The humans can't win either. We're spiraling toward extinction." She stepped closer. "But there's another way, partnership." She revealed a hidden data chip. "Human tactics, technology, strategy. Alex gave me this freely because he believes this war doesn't need to end in genocide." Thal stared as though it were poison. "Why would he do that?" "Because I spared his life once. Because sometimes the right choice looks like the wrong one." Before he could respond, alarms blared. Red lights bathed the corridors. Reports came in the outer colony fleet had launched a massive assault. The city was under siege. "It's begun," Thal said grimly. "The final battle. How long?" Kalira asked. 6, maybe 8 hours. She held up the chip. "Then this is the only time people might listen to reason." The detention facility transformed into a command center within hours. Despite her status, Kalira was placed as an advisor. Thal had little choice. Her intelligence could mean survival, but one question remained. "The human," Thal said. "Alex, I want to interrogate him." "He'll cooperate," Kalira replied. "But not under torture. He's a soldier, not a fanatic." The courier ship launched under fire, vanishing into chaos. Hours dragged on with no word. Systems fell one after another. The planet edged toward collapse. Then, an unexpected transmission. Admiral Morrison of the Outer Colonies. His flagship had been infiltrated by a human operative, Alex, though killed. He left a message: stop the bombardment or lose the fleet, instead of destruction. Alex's mission had proven cooperation possible. Morrison proposed a ceasefire. Both sides agreed. Weeks later, Kalira sealed her scarred armor in an ancient cryopod. "I'm done being a weapon," she whispered. Alex stood beside her. The sabotage had been designed to fail, proving trust rather than wreaking destruction. Outside, soldiers from both species emerged from cryosleep shelters. Instead of enemies, they became builders, carrying tools instead of weapons. A scarred veteran extended his hand to Alex. "I don't forgive. I can't forget. But maybe I can build." Alex clasped it. Together. As rebuilding began, Kalira pointed to children, one Valoran, one human playing without care for history. "If they forget," she told Alex, "we remind them. Not with monuments or revenge, but with choices. Peace isn't victory. It's a habit chosen again and again." Together they watched the new generation playing among ruins. The war was over. The future had begun.